Hey guys, it's Robert Shane, and on this channel, I try to teach you everything I know. On this week's video, I'm delivering the first of a multi-part series on working with workbooks and worksheets, and I know I'm going to get really tongue-twisted saying that, so just bear with me. With the introduction out of the way, let's begin. I like to think of the difference between a workbook and a worksheet like the difference between a book and the sheets of paper within the book. So the workbook is the actual book that you can hold, and the worksheets are the different sheets within the book that you can put information on. To create a workbook, we're just going to go up to blank workbook. If you're already at a workbook and you want to create a new workbook, you're going to go up to File, New, and then select a template. For this project, I'm just going to click blank workbook because we're not getting into that stuff just yet. Now, as far as workbooks go, that's really all you need to know. It's just a book with sheets in it. In a future video, I'll show you how to manipulate data between workbooks. But for now, we're just going to stick with this because that's really all you need to know. All right, once you're here, you are now looking at Worksheet 1. And you can tell because down here at the bottom, it's named Sheet 1. If we wanted to add more sheets, we would just click the little plus sign. So now we have 4 worksheets in one workbook. Another way of adding a worksheet is to press Alt and then type HIS. That'll make another one. Anytime you press Alt, it'll show letters you can type in. So I'm just typing H to take you to the Home tab, and then I will take you to Insert, and then S for Insert Sheet. So that's another way to add one. To rename a worksheet, we can right click on it and click Rename. So I'm just going to name this Hello. To delete a worksheet, you can right click and press delete, or we can press Alt H D S, and that'll ask you if you want to delete. Sure, why not? Let's delete it. To stay organized, you can color these. So if you want one to stand out more, you can choose a color. So let's choose red. So now you got one that's red. We can make one blue, and let's make one green. Those are my colors there. Blue and green, not the red. By default, it's on no color. So if you don't like this color, like I don't like this red, we can just hit no color. It'll change it back to the default. You can move tabs around by left clicking on them and dragging. So you see how I move that blue one over to the left, and then I'll take this green one and put it over to the right. Or I can switch them around. Okay, that should be pretty easy for y'all. You can also select more than one tab at a time. There's 2 ways of doing it. If you click on one and then hold Shift and select on another one, it'll select the entire range between the two, including the 2 that you clicked on. If you want to click like just random ones, then you would hold down Control and click on them like that. So now we got 3 of them selected. All right, basic controls of navigating within the worksheet. I mean, if you see a cell, you want to be there, just click on it. It's that simple. If you want to move up, down, left, and right, you can press up, down, left, and right with your arrow keys. To enter in information, just start typing. So, hello world. This is where you have some options. If you want to go to the column to your right, you're going to press Tab. That'll take you. That's another way you can move to the right. I mean, you could have pressed the right arrow key or just hit Tab. It really depends on like where your hands are. Usually if I'm typing, I'll press Tab because my hand is already there. But if I'm doing something else, I might use my arrow keys. I can also press Enter, and that'll take me down one. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's tab over 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice how it brings me back to where I first started typing. I started typing here, pressed Enter all the way down, came to here, pressed Tab, it went over, and then when I pressed Enter again, it jumped back to the column I was on. So that's a little bit different than how the arrow keys work. The arrow keys are always going to take you one in that direction, but the Enter key will sometimes take you, see like that, it'll take you back to where you first started entering data in. Now, if I typed in another over here and then press Enter, it's not going to jump over here. It's going to jump underneath all those B's. And that's just how the Enter key works. It takes a little bit getting used to. Sometimes it'll take you where you don't think it's going to be taking you, or sometimes it will. I don't know. Okay, another thing. Yeah, we said Enter will take you down, but also Shift Enter will bring you up. So if you're starting from the bottom somewhere and you wanted to, that's really hard to do. So A, enter A, so A, shift enter A, shift enter A, shift enter A, shift enter A. So we started from the bottom, now we up top. So to recap, arrow keys will move you around, enter key will move you down, tab will move you to the right, shift enter will bring you up, and shift tab will bring you left. The shift enter tab situation is more for like when you're typing and you don't want to like move your hands off the keys back and forth, because that can get kind of tedious. You'll get the hang of it. All right, I promise. Okay, earlier I said you can go to a cell you want, you just left click it. If you want to select, similar to how we did the tabs down here, if you hold shift and click another one, you can get a range. Now the range always starts from where you first clicked. So if I click here and then click down here, it's going to make a big box. If I click up here, click down here, it's going to make another big box. You can also select multiple individual cells if you hold down Control. Now, if you type something in, it's only going to put it in the last box you clicked on. And every time you hit enter, it's going to jump between those. Also, similar to how we did the tabs, selecting one, we can do Control left click to select individual columns. Same with rows. And then when we start typing, I believe it's going to go through. I'm not going to do this, but I think if I held down tab, it would go through all of them and then come back up to the next one and then the next one. And then, it'd eventually go through all of them, just how when I did that, and it cycles between them. But I'm not going to do that, because if you go all the way to the end, there's like, I don't even know. There's a ton of them. Speaking of going all the way to the end, say you're like in the middle of the worksheet somewhere and you want to go up to the very top left, cell A1, then you would just press Control and Home. That's going to take you all the way up to like the home area. If you want to go all the way to the right of your worksheet, you can press N and then the right key. You don't have to hold them down, just one after the other. That'll take you all the way to the right. If you press N, then down, that'll take you all the way to the bottom. If you press N, then up, that'll take you all the way to the up, and then M and to the left, it'll take you all the way to the left. Another quick thing I want to show you is if you're typing in some information, let's say we got like a bunch of ones we want to fill, but we want to fill like, 100 of these, and filling them in, it's just going to take too much time to do it by hand. So what you can do is just type in a few, select them. So left click, drags to select them, and then see this little green dot at the very bottom? Left click that and then drag it, and we can drag it as far as we want. Let's drag it to 100, then let go, and it will fill in with all those. Now, you got to be a little careful, because if you type in 1, then 2, this will do it. It's going to try to assume it's going to try to like predict what you're thinking of. So if you type 1, 2, it's going to do 3, 4, 5, and so on. So if you don't want it to predict, I think you have to at least do 2. And it can do all sorts of stuff with that. The auto predict thing, it can do like time and date and all sorts of stuff. So you just have to be a little careful that it's going to do what you want it to do. And this is where I'm actually going to end today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning about Excel, please subscribe and like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thanks again. Until next time.